because we are here and we start our live broadcast at exactly 6:30. I, Olive, and Julie, and of course Ruben comes in with the world of sports and a big team behind the scenes, the technical team, the camera persons, the social media guys. So there's so much that happens. So why not make it a date with us every weekday from 6:30, because you start your day very, very informed. We take you around the globe. We look at what is making headlines. We set the agenda. So for you to be able to fit in any meaningful conversation, whether simple, hard talk, you have to start your day with us on UBC TV. Welcome to The Extra, which is an extension of Good Morning Uganda. Now here, we look at very pertinent issues of national concern. With me, Robert Cherabo. And this morning, we want to look at the education sector, but more so regarding preparation for the national exams. Now, that is registration of the 2025 primary leaving exams, that is PLE. We'll look at UCE and UACE certificates and related activities. Now, we all know that we have three major national exams. You'll have that of P7, or Primary 7, Senior 4, and Senior 6. Now, we have the National Examination Board, but there are preparations. And this morning, we want to focus on the registration. Now, with me in studios, I have Rose Nabukenya Mukasa, who is the Principal Examinations Officer, Primary. You're most welcome, Madam Nabukenya.
Thank you very much, Brother Chirabo. Thank you. As you've said, my name is Rose Nabukenya Mukasa. I want to bring you greetings from Uganda National Examinations Board. And thank you very much for what you're doing for this nation, especially giving this country information that is very important to everyone, every parent, every citizen, if I may say, and even non-citizens. So to the viewers, I greet you, and I want you to really pay attention to the things we are going to discuss this morning, because registration almost concerns every family here in Uganda and abroad possibly. So please, thank you very much for this opportunity, UBC, to talk to the nation.
Now, to begin with, when we talk about UNEB registration,
yes, please.
This activity, tell us more, what is it exactly? Because there are so many activities that happen in schools.
Yes.
Today, maybe one would go home and tell parents there is counting of students. There is also now counting of students, and there's so much that the ministry is collecting. So for a first-time parent, or for a parent who is having a child, a pupil, a student, because most of the times parents are caught unaware, or some of them, a child comes today, talks about this, they have asked money for this, we are doing this, we are doing that. What entails, what is UNEB registration?
Thank you very much. This one is a very wide question, and I think it is very lovely. To begin with, as you have spotted, there are so many registrations in the country, and UNEB can do other registrations. But the registration we are talking about today and here now is registration for candidates, final candidates of Primary 7, those who are going to sit their examinations in November. We are also talking about final candidates of Uganda Certificate of Education, that is Senior 4 as they call it, those who are going to sit their examinations beginning October, and then the candidates of the Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education. Some people call it Senior 6, others A-level, name it. Those are the candidates we are talking about. So these candidates, before they sit, are supposed to be known in the system of UNEB. We are supposed to have their information. We are on the following. We are supposed to get their information on their names, on their gender, whether they are men or women. We are supposed to get their pictures, how they look at this very age. And their indexing numbers allocated by the schools. We are also supposed to get their age, true dates of birth, the age, the month, and the year of birth. So to the O-level candidates and the A-level, we are also supposed to get the subjects they have taken, because, my brother, you know very well that there are so many subjects. There are a number of subjects, but a student is not compelled to take all at senior 4, to sit all at senior 6 and senior 4. Therefore, they choose. If you have 8 or 9, we want to know which are those, because apart from choosing them, you're going to also pay for them. Therefore, you must be very clear to which subjects you are choosing and which subjects you are paying for, so that at the end of the year, at the very time of the examination, we prepare for you. If we don't capture you at this stage, it will be very difficult for us to prepare for you papers. Once in a while, though not commonly, you hear that some students were waiting for papers and they didn't get them. This is basically because there's head teachers in those schools, or the people responsible, but of course it's the head teacher that is responsible in our case, did not send information to UNEB that they have candidates. And therefore, if they don't do that, these candidates will wait for examinations in vain. They will not get them. For the primary children who sit all, we want to know how many are they in each school, because each school which has a UNEB center registers with us in their own center. However, there are also schools without centers, but they have candidates. UNEB would want to give them examinations. But how do we get to know? These schools must seek permission from UNEB through the inspectors of schools, because there are forms UNEB gives out to each district local government, so that these schools seek permission to register their children, and they indicate the schools where they're going to register them. So this is the time. And as I talk now, my brother, UNEB has given out the circulars on the portals, because schools connect with UNEB on their portals. The districts at the primary level also have portals, so we have also given them these circulars to tell them that registration started. The UNEB registration began on 1st April, my brother.
It began on 1st April?
Yes.
Registering students, candidates.
Exactly. And by this, of course, some people are worked up, because we have not sent the software where they are supposed to, which they are supposed to use to send. This one is okay, because our registration process, if I may break it, is the normal time is 2 months. The month of April began. We expect the schools to be organizing this data I've talked about. The name, the registration number, you have the index number you have given the candidate, the photos, clear photographs of individual candidates, not radios, as some people do, not trees, not the other candidate, the other child of P6 or senior 3 because this candidate is absent, but the actual learners. So this is the period they're supposed to do it. And when they prepare this information, by the time the software reaches them, possibly next week, everything should be ready at the school level. So for the schools that are being worked up because the software is not there, please, you have a lot to do at this moment. To first of all organize the parents. The parents are supposed to participate in this exercise fully. When you leave them out, problems are going to come. How? The parents are supposed to give you the correct names of their children, the correct order of these names, and then the dates of birth. My brother, we have seen a lot of controversy with the parents at times and the schools. Remember, UNEB no longer receives information instead. But schools sometimes send wrong information and they run back in need of correcting that information. As we go by, it is getting very difficult to change what you have registered with at especially primary 7. And once you register that information at primary 7, it is the same information we pick at senior 4 and senior 6. So dear parents, to go back to the point and to emphasize this point, you are supposed to participate fully in the registration of your children at school. Go there, confirm to them that this is the order of the names of my children. If you have more than one, confirm all. Even if they are twins, there could be divergences. We have also seen schools which which confuse names of siblings. If I have 2 children, you get used to my child in P6 or P5. Then when you're registering my candidate in P7, you give him or her the name of the sister or the brother. Please, go there with a birth certificate. Give schools copies of the birth certificates to confirm the date of birth. This one is also very controversial.
Just to get you clearly,
Yes.
when you talk about the birth certificate,
Yes.
is it mandatory? Does UNEB require it for this registration? That is something we must look at very clearly.
It is.
Because a passport size photo is something very easy
Yes.
to take.
Yes.
Index is something very easy for a
Given by
school
the school, yes.
to give.
Yes.
Selection of subjects is
also-
something very easy still
Surely.
to fill in.
Yes.
But securing a birth certificate, now we are moving away from Kampala. We have about 2 months. Is it a must for a school to ask, or if a parent can have these off their fingertips? I have my passport size for my children. I can tell you I'm the father. We gave birth on this date.
Yes.
This is the name that I want to appear. We've agreed with the child. Period. Must I still go through the hassle of coming with a birth certificate?
Yes, and it is even very good at this stage because this birth certificate is something you're going to need up to university. So to the parents, it should be a must. Do you know that there are parents who do not even know the dates of birth of their children? Have you heard of that? When you ask someone, especially the father, not you, but the fathers, normally they say, it's the
Let's
mother.
ask the mother,
Yes,
yes.
ask the mother. So, and if it is the father who has gone to school now to confirm the date of birth, what will he say? Of course, fathers out there, please forgive me. I'm not saying you forget the dates, but I'm saying I've seen some of these cases. But of course, even if you're the mother, chances are high that you have 6 children and you may forget, you may mix up these dates. Only to remember later on that, I gave in a wrong date of birth, when actually data has been transferred to your name. So we want you, as much as possible, and remember, the birth certificates is something that began long ago when children were still in primary. At the lower primary, the children who are sitting now and those who have gone through have all processed the birth certificates because NIRA went to schools, captured data. Most of the children have this data in the system at NIRA. It is about being mindful, about knowing the importance of this document called a birth certificate. So many people don't bother, only to be caught up in a mix and they just run back to the sub-county. And we want, as much as possible, parents to get their actual birth certificates, not notification from the sub-county. Because some of these people go there without proper documentation, and the person they find on the desk will just write anything. So actual birth certificates are very important at this stage.
Gotten from NIRA.
Gotten from NIRA. All of us are parents, and we have had the experience. We have tried to get these documents for the children because we know they are very important. It's a matter of dedicating a day, and you say, today I'm going to pursue or process the documents for my children, and you will get them. So, my dear parents, countrywide, please go to the school and confirm the date of birth of your child. Don't come again after and say, my child has been given 4 more years or is 4 years younger than the actual date. It will be very difficult, as I've told you, going along. We are getting very stringent because of factors best known to UNEB. There are so many people who also misuse opportunities once given. And therefore, UNEB has really tightened in this area. You must know the date of birth of your child. And as we have always done, I want to encourage you at this beginning that even when you have gone there at the beginning, when the registers come out in August, September, go back to the schools, because we shall compel the schools to pin up the registers for you to confirm and your child. Do this, dear parent. I'm requesting you to go and confirm the name, the date of birth, the photograph of your child. we get embarrassed. Children come back with slips with different photographs. They say this number 5 was given number 10, number 6 was given number 9, and that mix is also complicated.
That album becomes a problem.
Exactly. When you find us at another level, we get so troubled to go back to a year, 2, whereas the information is there, but then there are so many things we do because we are looking at the whole country, not one school. Be kind to yourself and be kind to the system. We shall serve you very well when you cooperate and do the right thing.
Now, Madam Nabukenya, that said, just a quick reminder of the dates. We began on the 1st of April, and normal registration ends when? Oh,
very well. Thank you very much for that question. So the whole of April is normal registration. The whole of May is also normal registration. Here, you can enter data for your child. You can adjust it even when you have sent it. You can make amendments in your data without any charge. That is why we say it is normal. You give in registration data, but you can change it. There, of course, there are parameters we don't change, especially the choices. We don't change choices and the funding code. Going forward, we
what
also
do you mean by choices? Schools you opt for?
Yes. For the primary, the candidate will choose schools. Once you submit to us, this data is not supposed to be
my first choice, my second
choice. Yes. We want this information to remain the way you thought about it. We have reasons because some people are not consistent up to the last minute. They also want to change even when we have released the results, which is
you
not
put
very
your
possible.
St. Mary's Chitende, then you wake up and you're like, I think I should go to Namiriam.
Exactly. So that one is very difficult to handle, and therefore we don't change those areas. But otherwise, we want them to fill in the information, be consistent, and then forward. When the software gets to them, they will use it to send this information to UNEB. Now, after the first 2 months, UNEB gives room for those who may have had problems. In the month of June, we call it late registration. There's that first phase. The difference comes in like this. In terms of payment, for the primary, it is 100%. Because our registration fees are as follows. Primary pays 34,000.
For registration?
Yes.
That is UNEB registration, PLE.
Yes. It is 34,000.
34,000.
In the first 2 months. Yes, sir.
My audience.
Yes.
That is the money that UNEB requires you to pay. Sure. But I must emphasize, UNEB requires you to pay 34,000 per candidate.
Yes.
You know, African fathers, we are blessed. So if you have 7 of your candidates, multiply that. There you will understand. Multiply that. 34,000 per the number of candidates you have at primary 7.
Surely.
Please continue.
At senior 4 or UCE level, a candidate is going to pay 164,000. During the normal registration period.
Senior 4,
yes,
registering for UNEB exams.
Yes.
That is how much you're going to pay per child.
Then at senior 6, USCE, a child is going to pay 186,000. That's the amount to be paid per child. And that is the money during the normal period. In the first 2 months, that is April and May. However, when we move out of that period, UNEB is sympathetic because we have sometimes seen parents looking for money, they have not paid. So we go to the month of June. Now for the primary, because the money is a little bit low, people will be paying 100% surcharge. It is 100% surcharge, and therefore that money is going to just double. Instead of 34, you're going to be paying 68,000. Yes. However, for UCE and USCE, the board says, yeah, the money is a little bit high. They first give you in that month 50% surcharge. And therefore, if it is 50% surcharge, instead of 164, you're going to pay 246,000. That's the 50% surcharge. And for the senior 6, they will pay 279,000. That is 50%. However, if you fail to register in June, UNEB still says, okay, we still want all the Ugandan children to register. But the inconvenience is high because we shall have moved on to other processes. And therefore, if this window is opened for you, for the primary, it is still 100%. There is no change. In July, you can register, but at 100%, still 68,000. However, for the UCE, it goes to 100%. So you multiply the other money from the normal registration, and your charge goes to 328,000. I think that one is high. I would imagine nobody should wait for that. And for the USCE, it will be 372,000. Quite high. So I want to appeal to dear parents, fellow parents, that it is very important that you register in the normal time, given when the funds are still affordable. And this message now will go to the government institutions where government is paying money. There should be no excuse for head teachers in government schools to wait for children to go into surcharges, because their work is to get information, data from the children, and they send information to UNEB. Therefore, UNEB, where your government is paying for the children, please, this information should come in the normal time, not to go beyond May, because it will be absurd to make this parent who has been suffering and the government has been paying, and then you ask for the money because you have registered them late. Unless the case is unavoidable, all children should be registered in the normal time. They are under UPE, USE, or the Opalate program. I hope I'm understood.
Very understood. So our parent, our guardian watching us, the student, the people, in case you didn't go to school maybe and you're watching us, remember, you shouldn't do late registration. Please endeavor to ensure that the parent, you the guardian, you pay in time. The surcharge, one at 50%, then 100 later, makes the money quite huge. But now here I want to ask.
Yes, my brother.
You mentioned the fee as stipulated by UNEB.
Yes.
But the challenge we get, we're asking for 34,000 for primary. A child comes home with a circular, they need 100,000.
Yeah.
And it's called UNEB registration.
So
We are in
confused.
a world, a liberal economy. You have government and private. For government, you've been very clear. UPE schools, USE schools, no paying UNEB registration. Government catered for that. But for us who are taking children and many parents out there in private schools, these people who began their schools, our lips are tight, so are our arms. Now, this exorbitant fee they charge, how would you help us? Or you're in a comfortable seat? For us, you've asked what we take.
Thank you very much, my brother. UNEB is not in a comfortable seat because what affects the parent affects UNEB as well. The complaints will come back to UNEB every day, and we find it very unmanageable. First of all, I want to send a warning to our dear investors in schools and everybody who has endeavored, because even the government schools have some private children, some of them do register the private children, that you're doing a great job, but there is a very, very big warning given to you about registration, UNEB registration fees. UNEB has given a structure of the fees we charge, and they are called UNEB fees. UNEB is aware that you may have other costs that you incur in the process of handling registration generally. We have talked about taking photographs and other costs which we may not know. UNEB is highly requesting the schools not to term any other costs as UNEB fees, and therefore send such as to schools, to parents. The other costs that they want to charge should be termed differently, not UNEB fees. Because our law is also clear. It touches those areas where there is fraudulent charging of money in the name of UNEB. The UNEB Act of 2021 is very, very clear. There is a very big charge of 40 million and all imprisonment of 10 years in case somebody is reported and charged guilty over this offense. So what does UNEB advise? We advise schools to invite the parents and take them through what they think they want to charge or what their costs are during the time of registration, and therefore ask them, they should agree and charge the money they want to charge in a different name, not UNEB fees. Otherwise, if a parent goes to report to police, because this one is reported at police, the school will be charged, or whoever has written or charged will be charged in their own right as schools or individuals. So UNEB has given this clear guideline that the fees charged for other purposes should not be termed as UNEB fees. And therefore, I think that one makes us a little bit clear. Of course, it wouldn't be, UNEB cannot judge what the school is going should charge.
Yes.
We don't run the schools at that level, but clear guidance, of course, and understanding, because if the schools have charged the fees, again, the registration fees should not be exorbitant like a bank slip for the fees. But that one is in their docket. They should, however, be clearly warned.
Well, these are people in business, and they'll look at every moment as an opportunity to exploit parents. I must say, there are some schools really. I thank all those who invested in the education sector, and they came to render a service.
Sure.
But there are also those that every opportunity to siphon, they'll take advantage of it. And I've seen it where a candidate comes home and the UNEB fee for primary is 34,000.
Yes.
And then the circular is UNEB, they put UNEB fee and requirements for registration, primary 7.
Maybe they are
Now,
wiser.
UNEB fee and requirements for registration. Now they give a total figure, 150. Now, when they'll tell you, but the UNEB fee is also included there. And of course, I don't know somehow.
Yeah, we have been
our schools, there is a way they have taken us, some schools captive. Abazadde basibe, they are captives. You don't bargain so much.
That one is upon us parents to see, and of
you
course,
have a candidate.
Yes.
Sometimes maybe even you have issues, you have completed the school fees.
Yes.
Now are you going to be the one to raise dust? So you're a prisoner in a way.
It's quite absurd.
It's very
but
absurd.
What you're saying is the truth that we have seen, of course, many times. We just want to call our brothers and sisters who are heading these institutions to be fair to the parents.
And also a quick one there.
Yes.
Is there a connection? I know this is a responsibility, and I'm speaking for many parents out there. Can a child not be registered because they have not completed school fees?
Well,
because at least you have a law that once a child is registered, it is illegal to deny them seating because they have not completed. Now, this moment of registration, can I, owning my school, Chirabo Senior Secondary School, and I say that we demand you school fees, much as you have all the requirement for registration. Before you complete school fees, you have registering you as a candidate.
Yeah, UNEB has not gone that far because we wait for the children submitted to us on the portal. So at the school level, we do not go to manage how they want their children to be registered. The conditions they put there, UNEB does not touch that. So the ones given to us are the ones in our control. We do that only. We don't do that. We don't go to the schools to say now first to finish the fees. The schools must manage that area and send to us those they are able to send.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, oh, you want to supplement something before we go for a break? Okay.
Yes, please. I want, because we're talking about fees, I also want to remind schools that it is also very wrong for you to receive the fees and then you misappropriate that money. Many times we have seen schools receiving money from the parents and they don't pay in time. We have talked about late registration. They make the parents suffer. They put the children on tension because they did not pay this money in time. Of course, there are others who get this money and they first do their business and they forget about the children. We have seen children who cried on the first day of the examinations, their head teacher or their director ran away with the money. So there is also a very big arm of the law that touches this. In the same way, if a head teacher or director does this, they will be reprimanded by the laws of this country. And for the school that does this, UNEB has the right to withdraw the center. If there's a teacher registered or a head teacher, the UNEB will take the law seriously. This teacher or head teacher can be deregistered from the Ministry of Education. So please, this is a warning. And of course, when they are caught under the law, they will be made to pay the money they defrauded and they pay each candidate fees that the candidate was supposed to pay. So I think the cost is going to be very high. Apart from imprisonment of 10 years or the 40 million, these other charges also prevail. And therefore, it's a big warning because it is okay if you're not caught, but if you're caught up by the law, it can mean to be very difficult. Yeah, that's what I wanted to add.
Well, so for the teachers, the headmasters, headmistresses, stand warned now. When we return, we are going to look at something also regarding registration. How do those schools that don't have centers, how are they going to handle? Because this is also another problem. That for some reason, Ministry of Education and Sports allows a school to have a candidate class, despite the fact that they don't have an examination center. Now here we've also had a lot of trouble at the end of the day, where the center they registered has issues. Moreover, it's a school and says, here are our candidates, they're very ready. Now you and that and that, that and that is that we are going to look at when we return.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra. When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. Come and discover our exclusive wellness club with packages that include a fully equipped gym, a rejuvenating sauna, steam bath, and a great sky blue swimming pool. For events, our state-of-art conference halls and versatile event spaces are perfect for hosting shows, wedding receptions, birthdays, and more. Come and enjoy our cinema hall and unisex saloon, all designed to meet your entertainment and grooming needs. Bring your family and let your kids splash around in our beautiful kids water park. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Don't wait. Visit us on www.hotellaconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort and pride with Royal Form Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. Our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality materials made to last. Experience royalty with Royal Foam Furniture, proudly made in Uganda, so buy Uganda and build Uganda. Visit our showrooms at Ginger Road, Chambogo Junction, Bukota Chisasi Road, and on Victoria Mall, Entebbe, on the first floor.
Looking for instant excitement? The Uganda National Lottery Spin for Cash game is now available online. Wherever you are, you can join the excitement for just 500, 1,000 and 2,000 Uganda shillings. Don't miss out. Register now on www.nationallottery.go.ug for a chance to win your share of 2 billion instantly. What are you waiting for? Play Spin for Cash now, anytime, anywhere. Ituba is the proud operator of the Uganda National Lottery.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Buza Commissioner, enhancing tax education and bringing it closer to the taxpayers. Many Ugandans have questions about the taxes they pay to URA.
When we come at revenue, they tell us to clear chitenge at 10,000. And when we are selling chitenge, we sell it at 17. So we don't know whether we are working or not.
Understanding your tax obligations can help you grow your business and avoid unnecessary losses. Now, you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. We are still looking at primary 7, senior 4, senior 6 UNEB registration process that is ongoing. It kicked off on the 1st of this very month. And we are here appealing to you that let note that 31st of March find you when you're not done with this process. We do not want you to attract surcharge or even miss out. And one of the issues I say that we were going to handle when we return was the issue of schools that have candidates but do not have centers for UNEB, for them to have their candidates sit there. Now, first and foremost, this is something that really disturbs me. But of course, it is what it is. Now, how do these students and parents first confirm that actually this school doesn't have a center, but we are told there is some place they are going to have a center? One, we've seen parents who later find that even transporting their children to those distances. We've seen some schools who require the children, even if they have been day scholars, now parents to prepare them, because where they are going to sit from, where there is a center, it's a distant. So you look for another huge amount of money for the entire period of exams. If it's primary 2 days, that is fairly okay. Now, we've seen those, actually a number of complaints that come in where the headmaster, head teacher, headmistress did not buzzed off with the money. Students or pupils who are told this is where they're going to sit from. So how does UNEB go over this, and how should we avoid any mishaps that may result as part of this organization?
Yeah, thank you very much, my brother. I will talk about this in the different levels, the primary, the secondary. First of all, for the primary, the guidance is clear. First, the UNEB works with local governments, the district education office, to register the children. These people are supposed to give a lot of guidance to the schools. Schools are supposed to register children within their district to begin with. Let me begin from the higher end. No school should take children beyond the district borders to register. So if you are a parent and your head teacher says, we don't have a center, but our children are going to go, if, for example, we belong to Kampala, but the school they want to take them to is Wakiso. Maybe these two districts could be confusing because of the boundaries. Let me talk about Michana and maybe Mobende, because these are distinct. If your school is in Michana district, your head teacher should not tell you that I'm taking my children to Mobende district. That one is wrong and it should not happen. As a parent, you should not accept. Tell other parents or mobilize other parents to really be against that. That said, there are schools which have UNEB centers and they register their own children. Then there is this category I have talked about which does not have a center but has primarily 7 candidates. And these candidates must sit PLE. So the guidance we give is that the district should help these schools to, as much as possible, find convenient schools to register with. There is a form that UNEB sent to the district, which is supposed to be used to apply to UNEB to register private candidates in another school. If I have a school which is not yet registered by the Ministry of Education and Sports, UNEB cannot give me a center, but my school progressively goes up to primary 7, and therefore my candidates get ready this year. I must register them somewhere. I'm supposed to get a school within my area of operation. If it's a sub-county, within my sub-county. Maybe within my parish. Not very far from me, because I have to ensure that this school, the children reach there conveniently. But the school I also locate must have facilities where the children must sit. For the primary, I want to add something because these issues also confuse. We have a UNEB center. You will have your UNEB center called Nyonyi Internal Primary School. Mine is Rose Primary School. We both have centers. But the UNEB arrangement, when it comes to sitting, is different. We make schools sit with others for reasons best known to UNEB. First of all, it's a counter-check system, whereby if we sit together, we may not connive to do wrong, because we had seen that cases of malpractice, we have very many when schools sit alone, sometimes they're not able to control themselves. So putting them in sitting centers, the word is sitting center, is a counter-check system. Also, the primary schools are a little many, and you have seen the money they pay is also little. So it would also be very expensive to UNEB to manage them independently. We would be needing many invigilators, chief invigilators, the scouts. As of now, the system is not able to manage all that because of the money. So for that, those two basic reasons, the counter check and of course the issue of expense, are the reason why we put sitting centers. Whereas you have your center, but you'll be compelled to come and sit with me if I have better facilities than you. That should be the ideal, although sometimes the districts don't do it very well in that manner. But we keep reminding them that a school which has the best facilities should be the one to host those near. And it should be those near, not a school from another sub-county to come here, not a school from another district. Therefore, these forms are going to guide the inspectorate department of the ministry at the district to make sure that they guide the schools to register conveniently. To the secondary schools, if you have a center, you have your own sitting center at your school. But if you have a center and you have other children to register within that school, you are also compelled to declare them to UNEB. There is again a form which the director of examinations signs to give permission to your school to accept my children. Therefore, your children, my children will sit in your school when UNEB is aware that you will indicate that I have these from another school. And even the people who come to invigilate, like the scouts, will be aware that your school of 30 candidates has an extra 20 from another school. And when we are packing, we shall be aware of that. All schools are supposed to declare that intention to register other people, and therefore UNEB gives the permission. Government schools sometimes fall prey to this, and they fail to register those they have accepted from other schools. And of course, it is a big case in UNEB. Once caught, it becomes a case, and you must pay charges for not declaring these private candidates.
But then don't they then miss out? Because I know when you're packing material, you pack numbers, you know. Do you pack excess?
Once what they do, they will call it their own candidates. If you have 40 in your school, you get another 20. You may not declare that those are private. You tell me you have 60. You tell UNEB that you have what? 60 candidates. But it is not right. So every school is supposed to declare those that don't belong to them.
Please emphasize that, and I love that you've brought that out.
Yes, for purposes of every school. If you have a center,
yes,
and you have 30 candidates, but your neighbor has a school without a UNEB center, but wishes to register those who have reached the candidate class, like senior 4.
At my school, which has the center.
Yes. You're supposed to get permission from UNEB. For the secondary schools, the forms are picked from UNEB. The primary schools, the forms are picked from the inspectors because they do that role on behalf of UNEB. So secondary schools, please, the director's office, room 43, is open every working day for you to come and pick forms to declare those candidates who are not for your school. Declare them and get the permission from the director. The director will look at your facilities, will look at your ability to register these children. If your facilities do not suggest that you can register them, they will not give you that permission. But we are aware that another school in the vicinity will take them on. Yes, because we shall also try to find out. We have area supervisors in the different locations who give us information about which school can be able to. In the case we say, no, according to the facilities you have given us, according to the candidature you have, you also don't have the ability to register them. Let us look around for another school, and UNEB will do that. We'll assist you in that. Yes.
Well, that very explained. Now for school directors, school heads, you know very much what you're supposed to do. Well, time is fast spent, and I just want to ask this.
Yes.
It is slightly related to registration, but also for you to clarify now. You've talked about students, pupils registering within their districts. There's a belief that when UNEB is marking, there is sympathy for those in rural areas.
Sure.
And we end up that many children who are studying currently Kampala in urban centers, you find a parent saying, I want to register my child
In Kasese.
in Kasese, in Kakuko,
Sure.
Uruwero, and all that, believing that there that child is going to be marked better.
Sure.
And I remember some years back, there's a school in Kampala. This was public information, Green Hill. They said, no, we're undermarked. We can't have only these 4s. And you can't tell us, even the concluded exams. For some of us who are analyzing this, we are wondering, how would you tell me that in the West, they were beating some of these schools? We know here that have our first grades. So please clarify, why do you, is it a crime for me to have a child study in Kampala?
My brother,
How do you punish them?
thank you very much. Actually, that one is a very common accusation. It is a fallacy. There are so many fallacies in this world, in this country. But that one is a fallacy. I want to comfort everybody watching this show that all of us are parents. We are in Kampala, we are in Wakiso, and around. And we also up country. The issue of UNEB marking rural schools different from urban schools.
Now even the addition that with UPE you sympathize for us who you judge us for ability to educate our children, not in government schools. So you punish the children.
I want to challenge you because the examiners come from the whole country. They come from every district that you've mentioned that is rural. They also come from here. They are the very people who should tell us how they do it that side, because we give them everything, we give them materials, the marking guide. They make it actually, we don't give them. They make it themselves. They should be telling this country how they separate the rural marking guide from the urban marking guide. As a worker of UNEB, as a staff of UNEB, I don't think I would take it in to see that UNEB, the system I serve, is serving this country in those different ways. And my children are also in some of these urban schools. I don't think I would take it in and leave my children here. Who doesn't want the child to be really with very good, super grades? Yes. So these are fallacies. There are sometimes when we fail to do what we're supposed to do, we imagine other people are not working. Some of these rural schools are really working very hard. And when you look at the curriculum which is changing, which requires facts and real issues, understanding things the way they are. A child in the rural who knows coffee, your child will call it some small chocolate on the tree. To be sincere, some children have not known some of the things that are real in the real true sense. We have not, they're not to be blamed, neither should we blame ourselves for our children not knowing some of the things, but the truth is around that. Practically, the curriculum requires you to understand and ensure that you have understood the knowledge, the information you have studied in books. Some of our schools are so much into the academics of really cramming and remembering, but some of the rural schools are practically telling the children and showing them what to do. We have a challenge, we have to accept it. Maybe this is why we can embrace the new curriculum now. It is trying to change the way the schools teach. Yes. Otherwise, if we don't do that, we shall complain and complain. Some of the things are real that the children must see, understand, and apply, because most of the questions are now application questions. I've ever gone with a child to the village, and when they saw groundnuts, they said, "Which kind of weed is this?" But this was a plantation, a garden of groundnuts. I felt so embarrassed myself. I said, yeah, my only child, not very small, but says which weed. But here we are. Yes.
You've just also reminded me of a child who came from the village, and we brought him to town. And then we asked him, and he looked at ice tubes.
Yes.
He couldn't understand that these were ice tubes. It was water in a solid form.
Exactly.
Because he had never seen ice tubes. So all areas there are challenges there.
Yeah.
But that said, as we move out of here, there's something I need a comment still for you to give me a comment.
Yeah.
Schools selling candidates. This may not be entirely for UNEB, but a person in the education sector. I have a class of 250 candidates. Then the parents chose those schools, but as we hit the mark of registration, I look for the cream at what I register. Then those that may not give me the best, they call it selling them to another school that maybe is of low standard, so that when the results come back, also it has attained something on at its center. What is your comment on this?
Yeah, of course, that is one of the most unfair issues that schools do. The fact that you may have a school and register so many when actually your ceiling is low. For instance, we have what we call a ceiling in UNEB. It touches basically the secondary, the O-level and the A-level. You may have a school of 500, but UNEB gave you a ceiling of 300. You admitted so many, but you don't have the facilities. But because people have thought you will do it, you do miracles, they give you their children. When it comes to registration, you're not supposed to take them on because your facilities do not allow you. So these are the people who are going to eventually say, please, this school, the other school, but to the parent, it is unfair. But of course, there's also this category. You have all the facilities, you admitted the number, they would sit there, but you have not turned them into what they should be because the parent gave you this child, to turn them into some form of grades. You have not done that, and therefore, at the last moment, you are unfair to this child. I also don't believe in it. I don't like it, and I think something should be done. As you said, it's not for UNEB as such. some regulation needs to be put in place.
Well, I just want to thank you so much, Rose Nabukenya Mukasa from UNEB. We've been looking at the registration. Please, dear parents, make sure school heads and the students and pupils, you're not caught off guard. See you tomorrow, the good Lord willing. Have the best of your Tuesday. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with